Acknowledge our top management headed by our SDS, Dr. Sheila Marie Primusias, our ASDS, we have Dr. Domingo Laud, our CID Chief, we have Dr. Edita Resnit Prides, and with us, the Education Program Supervisors, the Public Schools District Supervisors, the Senior Education Program Specialists, and of course, the school heads of the 76 schools. What about a big, big hand for all of us? We gathered today for an orientation of DepEd Order number 005 series of 2024 regarding about rationalization of teachers' workload in public schools and payment of teaching overload. Ladies and gentlemen, we begin by showing our patriotism to our beloved country by singing the national anthem and of course putting God at the center of this session. Let us all stand for the national anthem and prayer.
Ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas. Kayang magiliw, pero sa sinakanan, alam ng puso, sa titik mo'y buhay. Upang buyan ka ng magiting, sa manlulupin, di ka pasisingil, sa nagagang tutok sa simoy at sa langit ang bagaw, ay hinatang tula, kawin sa pagkayang minamahal.
Let us bow our heads and put ourselves in the presence of the Lord. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for gathering all of us today. We thank you for the gift of life and strength that you have provided us all to be part of this endeavor. We seek your forgiveness for our wrongdoings, as we have forgiven those who have done us wrong. May you bestow your guidance and blessings so that we can enjoy and appreciate its significance in our lives. Bless everyone who is present here today. May each one of us be able to share our knowledge, understanding, and wisdom for your glory and honor. All these we ask, through your name, Amen.
Dr. Domingo Laud.
teaching overload. Before I shall commence sharing to you these slides, I wish to emphasize significant points so that somehow we can embrace again a purposive beginning in the implementation of the new curriculum, thereby empowering more our schools by having empowered school teachers. The very first consideration is about the principle of principal empowerment. We know pretty well that as explicitly enshrined in Republic Act 9155, that the school head is the administrator of financial, physical, and human resource of the school, zeroing on managerial practice about defining workloads of our school teachers. This will give us an understanding that the way school principals staff their teachers has direct relationship with the attainment of key priority improvement areas defined in the annual implementation plan. So the workload of our teachers will somehow give us a vantage point that when teachers are overloaded, they are likewise overworked. And when teachers are overworked, they may not command significant impacts in leadership. So we would like to begin the school year with the right consideration about the matatag agenda for the letter G, which is give support to teachers. So one avenue of providing the relevant support to our teachers is balanced workload. So that should be our main emphasis of principal empowerment. So fundamentally, principal empowerment can lead to people empowerment. Second, which is about people development. When we staff well our teachers, we provide them likewise meaningful avenues by which they can maximize their potentials. They can willingly provide themselves, they can make themselves available for all opportunities relevant in the school institution so that they can contribute significantly in the realization of our school goals. To begin with that impact, we usually provide designations to our teachers. And may the designations that we afford to our teachers will serve as a springboard for them, again, to manifest the level of excellence that they have. So they can likewise transmit their excellence as teachers in the delivery of the curriculum. So right amount of time is spent in teaching, teaching-related, and ancillary works will likewise give the teacher the right opportunity to deliver his best. And the last thing that I wish to emphasize, dear friends, is all about people building. So when we staff our teachers, we likewise manifest our intention that someday our teachers will become the school head of the school where we are in right now. So when we demonstrate to them good practice of leadership, we build the right accountability in them, the right attitude of a school head, so that when the right time comes that they assume headship, they would likewise demonstrate the level of good governance that we have demonstrated over and above. So may these things, dear friends, keep us enlightened about how are we going to chart our destination again for the forthcoming school year. So to start with, we have to understand what are the salient points of DepEd Order number 5, Series 2024. the beginning will always be, hope we have a personal copy already of this DepEd order. And the list again that we have done is, we have perused the very provisions of DepEd order number 5 series of 2024. So by context, we are trying to answer the following fundamental issues and concerns. So what problem does the policy solve? First of which is, teachers are oftentimes overworked. They usually find Monday as a day for them to begin a busy week. And if Monday appears to be an overworked opportunity for them, Tuesday becomes a boring journey. So if we start each week with the right amount of work for our teachers, justified by the kind of school improvement plan that we have, then teachers will always have the motivation to come back the following day, that as if every day is Monday. So the consideration is, we find teachers overworked when we find them absent the following day. They find excuses going back to school. But when right amount of work is assigned to our teachers, based on the kind of capacity that they can deliver, then they go back to school with the right amount of motivation. So first problem that we are solving with this policy is, teachers are overworked. Second, teachers play numerous roles outside their core mandate. When roles outside classroom teaching will interfere, it will likewise result to frustrating level of learning outcomes. So the level or height of learning outcomes that we usually achieve at the end of each school year is a direct result of the roles that teachers play in the school system. So we've got to identify, therefore, what are teaching-related roles that teachers need to occupy and should not occupy, so that multiplying roles can be prevented. The last of which, teachers are not properly compensated for excess overload. So what complicates problem number 2, overworked teachers, would be teachers who are not paid for the extra loads assigned to them. So with the issuance of DepEd Order number 5, Series 2024, we now try to rationalize a way by which teachers rendering extra time outside the regular 8-hour workload shall be dutifully compensated. So we have to compensate, therefore, financially as per DepEd Order number 5, Series 2024, or through crediting vacation service credits, if that is the most possible way that our teachers shall be afforded when they render extra time beyond the regular working hours of 8 hours a day. Now, how does the policy address the problem? First, it protects teacher work hours. It's a given consideration that even before the issuance of DepEd Order number 5, Series of 2024, we already had issuances from the Civil Service Commission and the Department of Education as regards 8-hour workload of teachers. That with these 8 hours, 6 hours shall be spent for actual teaching, and 2 hours will be spent for teaching related. And the teacher can dutifully accomplish teaching-related tasks and functions inside or outside the school, and without means of verification required, which shall be later discussed in the succeeding slides. Next, it defines teacher workload. It has now, DepEd Order number 5, Series 2024, has provided a clear-cut definition about regular workload of teachers, teaching-related, and ancillary works. And in fact, with the issuance of other survey, DepEd order about reducing or eliminating or not assigning administrative tasks to teachers will complement this particular policy. Third, it provides guidelines and processes for the payment of teaching overload and grant of vacation service credit for excess workload. So by now, we have a clearer understanding that when teachers render work beyond regular working hours, 8 hours, they shall be dutifully compensated. And working beyond regular working hours may be credited as a vacation service credit if, to certain extent, funds are not available. But the first and immediate approach is they shall be financially compensated for the services that they have rendered. So for actual classroom teaching, at most, teachers are assigned to perform not more than 6 hours. And teacher ancillary tasks for 2 hours to complete 8 hours a day. So teachers are not exempted for the regular 8 hours a day workload. But the distinguishing difference is, for teachers, for the 8 hours, we have 6 hours for actual teaching and 2 hours for teaching related. So we likewise have to have an understanding about what is regular teaching load, what is teacher ancillary task, and what is teaching related assignments. Teaching load would refer to actual classroom teaching hours or minutes rendered by a teacher. If we are to refer to the K-12 school calendar, for secondary schools, regularly, and even in the elementary, we have 1 hour for every learning area. So if a teacher renders 6 hours actual teaching a day, in a week, there will be 30 hours spent for actual teaching. So the remaining 10 hours, by which 2 hours a day is spent for teaching related, will complete the 40 hours a week. Now, the teacher ancillary task would refer to work incidental to the teacher's normal teaching duties, such as preparation of lesson plans, checking of exercises, and summative tests. These are attached activities in the performance of our function as teachers. And this will form part of our 8-hour workload in a day. For the teaching-related assignments, these are tasks related to teaching and academic learning which support learner development. These are usually coordinatorship functions when teachers are assigned as advisors, coaches, coordinators, chairpersons to some relevant activities in the school. Now, in particular, what is teaching load all about? Now, it would refer to the actual classroom teaching, hours or minutes rendered by a teacher. And what are considered part of teaching load? The actual classroom teaching rendered per learning area, class advising duty, which is equivalent to 5 hours per week, and the remedial or enhancement classes. So if a teacher is assigned as a section advisor and performs this performs this in a regular basis. So given 1 hour a day. And with 5 actual classroom teaching loads, that will make it into 6 hours actual teaching load of the teacher. That is usually possible when the number of teachers will permit the school principal to balance the distribution of teaching loads. So if there preparation of instructional materials, preparation of lesson plan, recording of quizzes, checking of papers, and the like. And these ancillary tasks may be performed inside or outside. Okay, inside or outside. Moreover, what are the parameters for us to consider? So, ancillary tasks usually support the teaching and learning process. One example of which is lesson planning and preparation of instructional materials. It could directly impact better learning outcomes. Next, ancillary tasks are likewise considered as tasks true to all or applicable to all teachers. So all teachers record quizzes, correct? All teachers check papers, test papers to that effect. All teachers prepare lesson plans. That's a requirement. And ancillary tasks can be done within and outside school premises. It shall be the teacher's decision. No teacher shall be required to submit any documents or means of verification when ancillary tasks are performed outside school premises. So, unlike prior issued guidelines of DepEd, that there should first be an agreement between the teacher and the school head and the parents. But emphasizing on this very provision of DepEd order, which says, no teacher shall be required to submit any document or means of verification when ancillary tasks are performed, would strongly remind us likewise, school heads, to find coordinating functions, to find regulating functions of the school head as important functions in the demonstration of this provision. What I am trying to emphasize here is we will always embed in our leadership practices in the school system, the way we manage our staff, that we have our way of monitoring our teachers. That's the very significant point that we would like to emphasize. That although it says teachers are not required to provide any means of verification, we school heads will always have our own little way monitoring where our teachers are. And the way we would like to manifest this is to ensure that their safety is our paramount consideration. We would like to safeguard our teachers that when something untoward happens, we can readily protect them as per CSC and DepEd issuances. We have to safeguard, likewise, our teachers. We have to provide safety nets. Now, work hours. Ancillary tasks must be performed within the 2 hours that complete their 8-hour workday. And only home visitation and coaching and or mentoring duties of teachers performed outside the regular work hours shall be compensated through the vacation service credit. So, for hours spent beyond the regular 8 hours, of which home visitation, coaching, and or mentoring duties of master teachers were observed, they shall be compensated through vacation service credits. Now, what are the defined teacher ancillary tasks? We have tasks related to curriculum planning, curriculum delivery and pedagogy, assessment of learners' progress, homeroom guidance, and management. Now, coaching and mentoring duties of master teachers are considered as ancillary tasks. So it goes within the boundaries of the 6 hours actual teaching and 2 hours teaching related. Now, for teaching related assignments, what would be our parameters? Now, this would refer to tasks related to teaching and academic learning which support learner development. These tasks are performed by teachers in consideration of their professional expertise and experience. Teaching-related assignment is a designation and should be anchored in the School Improvement Plan, our SIP, and should be enabled by a designation order duly signed by the school's division superintendent. So all designations, although we school heads are empowered to assign specific designations to our teachers, these designations can only be made official if they bear the signature of our school's division superintendent. And when we usually seek approval of the superintendent, beginning, middle of the school year, or end of the school year, or when the teacher seeks promotion. It should be beginning of the school year. Designations somehow shall have an identity of semi-permanent in nature. Semi-permanent because designations can last for 1 school year. And the teacher designated to this specific special role can again be designated as personnel in charge the following school year. So the lifespan of designation is 1 year. So the very moment that you have finalized your AIP for a particular school year and you need to capacitate your people and identify other leaders because you want to share leadership in the school system, that's where the essence of designation takes place. So you have to formalize your omnibus designation order to your teachers, and after which we are to submit this request to the office of our school's division superintendent for appropriate approval. No teacher shall perform the designation without the official signature of the school's division superintendent. Again, we have to put emphasis on safety nets. We have to secure the safety of our teachers. Remember, the level of accountability that we demonstrate school heads will never excuse us when something untoward happens to our teachers in the performance of our designations without appropriate approval of our school's division superintendent. Now, the following are teaching-related assignments. For letter A, school coordinator, we have reading and or literacy and numeracy, research, special needs education, information, communication and technology, guidance and advocacy, inclusive education. As a trainer and honor advisor, it may be for a school paper, sports development program, our sports clubbing program, the Supreme Elementary Learner Government is ELG, and your Supreme Secondary Learner Government for the secondary schools. And for chairmanship, for grade level and learning area. So if it does require you, fellow school heads, to tender designations to your teachers as grade level chairperson, please do so. But if there's only one teacher in charge for one particular grade level, what's the need of affording a designation to a one-man team? Okay? So, it becomes possible if there are about 5 or more that can be affected as chairperson of a particular grade level. Now, so according to the context of your school, please define designations attached to your annual implementation plan. I wish to emphasize that, fellow school heads. The designations of our teachers shall not be made as decorations, shall not be made as way only to show that they have designations. These designations shall be attached to your school improvement plan and or annual implementation plan. So using this slide, we are therefore given an understanding that teachers can render teaching overloads not more than 2 hours. So, as if to say, only 2 hours spent beyond the regular working hours will be credited as in excess of the regular working hours. So, to regulate. So, you may render more than 2 hours, 3 hours, but only 2 hours will be credited to that effect. Moving further, for teaching overload, it should be in excess of the prescribed 6 hours of actual classroom teaching in a day. Maximum of 2 hours teaching overload per day. Actual classroom teaching, class advising duty, and remediation and or enhancement classes are paid by teaching overload. As a general rule, schools with shortage are eligible for teaching overload pay. However, tasks requiring actual classroom teaching duties, whether in person, distance, or blended, including relieving duties for other teachers, which are beyond the normal teaching hours and affecting vacant periods, shall also be considered teaching overload. So it becomes literal in our sense that when a school is understaffed, in need of teachers, it follows that teachers are overloaded. At the other side of the coin, when there are excess teachers in your schools, it would show likewise that teachers in your school may not be overloaded because in a given instance, you are overstaffed. To this effect, we will recommend to our SDS in a later time through the office of our administrative officer that we have to profile our schools for schools in need and of excess teachers so that we can possibly effect reassignment of teachers to schools in need of additional teachers. So in this way, we can intervene in the process that schools needing additional teachers will be provided additional teachers through reassignment procedures. So we will be seeking the office of our administrative officers report as regards inventory of teachers per district, so that we can manifest if districts are overstaffed or not, or schools in the secondary level are overstaffed or not. Moreover, we wish likewise to encourage your teachers, through you, fellow school heads. Please encourage your teachers to willingly submit themselves for possible transfer to schools of their interest by virtue of existing DepEd orders, that they can apply for transfer within the district if the merit warrants as per issuance as regards transfer of teachers. So one consideration will always be residence. So we can usually effect that through the office of our superintendent. Again, it's the superintendent who can only effect that. Nobody from among us. However, the district supervisor in the elementary can recommend. The school head likewise can directly recommend. And movement will only be made possible once the superintendent issues marching order. So without marching orders, please never enforce your empowerment. It does not cover to that effect. Now, other salient feature that establishes standards and processes for additional compensation. And what are the forms of additional compensation? It could be teaching overload pay or VSC, the Vacation Service Credits. Teaching overload pay can only be granted for teaching load in excess of the prescribed 6 hours per day. So meaning the teacher was assigned 7 hours teaching load. So the teacher is entitled for overload pay. And vacation service credits granted for ancillary tasks and teaching-related assignments performed beyond the regular work hours. Now, for teaching overload pay, it shall be at least 25% of a teacher's regular remuneration. Payment of teaching overload shall be made on quarterly basis. And in the event of insufficiency of funds, teaching overload hours shall be converted to earned vacation service credits. Now, if you have some clarifications on the very provisions presented, please write them down, and after our sharing, we will entertain your queries. Copy? Now, how are we going to compute teaching overload pay? So, we consider the total teaching overload hours and the prime hourly teaching rate. Okay. This would be our constant approach. So, for instance, in week 1, the teacher has incurred 7 hours overload excess. In week 2, 10 hours. Week 3, 5 hours. And week 4, 0.75. So, in total, in a month, the teacher had 22.75 teaching overload hours. And how are we going to compensate these extra working hours? So we use this formula. So the AR would refer to your annual salary, the W for the total teaching hours in a week, then T for 1.25 or 125% of the teacher's remuneration for in excess of 6 hours actual teaching per day, but not more than 2 hours. So, given this formula, we will arrive into this very particular computation. Okay. So, the AR of the teacher shall first be computed as follows. So, again, the data to be considered shall be the monthly basic salary. And for this sample computation, the monthly basic salary of the teacher is 27,000 pesos multiplied by 12 months, which is equivalent to 324,000 pesos. Now, the prime hour teaching rate shall be computed as follows. So, the constant value of 0.00781, this is constant, multiplied by AR. So, the AR of the teacher is 324,000 multiplied by the constant value of 0.00781. So, per hour, it is compensated 253.04 per hour. That's per hour. So, we multiply that into total number of hours spent in excess of the regular working hours. It will give us 5,756.75. So, in a month, this is the entitlement of the teacher with that given sample computation of 22.75 extra hours spent in the school. So, if it be quarterly, so we multiply that, the very least, with 2 months. Correct? So, the teacher will be entitled roughly to about 11,400 and something. Don't worry, fellow school heads. There will be a school personnel in your school who will be tasked for this particular computation and reporting. So, for teaching overload pay, at the school level, for 3 to 5 days, the school shall prepare the list of teachers eligible for teaching overload pay. Take note of the following documentary requirements that the school needs to submit. We have the DTR, the endorsement memo, the list of teachers with teaching overload pay. Now, when it reaches the division office, for 3 to 5 days, SDO shall check and validate the submitted documents and prepare the payroll. Then, for 3 to 5 days, to the finance unit shall process the disbursement of teaching overload pay to teachers. Then, to personnel unit shall prepare the budget utilization report for submission to regional office. And after which will be transmitted again for consolidation of the budget utilization report for submission to central office to the RO. Now, for the submission of requirements for teaching overload pay. Now, for teachers, immediately after end of the quarter, they shall submit the DTR to the office of the school head. And they shall, meaning the school principal is aware that the teacher is tendering extra working hours, overtime in the school. There was a prior approval. There was a prior request because of a specific function or activity that the teacher cannot perform this within the regular 8 hours. Hence, the teacher will be performing extra hours inside or outside the school. Now, for a school at 3 to 4 days, we'll identify teachers with teaching overload pay based on parameters in excess of the required 6 hours of teaching load, maximum of 2 hours per day, then should be either actual classroom teaching, class advising, remediation, or enhancement classes. To prepare the list of teachers with teaching overload pay and other documentary requirements such as endorsement memo addressed to the SDS through the SDO personnel unit, the list of eligible teachers with teaching overload, and DTR of eligible teachers. When we say eligible, there was prior approval. There is a document that explains why the teacher is entitled for overload pay. Now, for the school head or non-teaching personnel in your school within one day, to submit all documentary requirements to the SDO personnel unit. Reminder, schools must ensure completeness and accuracy of documents before submission to SDO to avoid delays in the processing of payment. Again, if we are to speak about efficiency in the submission of report, we refer to resources utilized. So it would be better, therefore, that before you are to submit, you have to check that doubly. Meaning you have to do checking of the report before submission twice so that you will submit once. Rather than you will submit once but do it twice because of errors. Next, for budget utilization reporting, this will be entrusted to the Office of the Personnel Unit of the SDO and the RO. So every quarter, after disbursement of teaching overload pay, we'll prepare the budget utilization report and submission to RO as regards total teaching overload hours, estimated amount to be paid, actual teaching overload pay received by teachers, and vacation service credits. For vacation service credits, this will remind us of the required process flow. So the authority to render our work beyond regular work hours. The authority is a communication matter by which the principal will be seeking approval of the school's division office to credit the activity. Okay, to credit the activity. So as the need arises, shall ensure that teachers have authority to render work beyond regular work hours. And for SDO's personnel unit, shall facilitate grant of vacation service credit to eligible teachers. When is the act facilitative? When the teacher or the school principal has submitted complete documents. Take note of that. So the facilitation can only happen when documentary requirements will be made complete by the school principal. Now, the authority to conduct or to render work beyond regular work hours for the teacher shall submit an accomplished form requesting for authority to render work beyond regular work hours, specifying the following: date and time, purpose, and justification. And for the school head to validate the request of the teachers based on necessity, urgency, workload of teachers, and approves the request of the teachers. So it will be the office of the school principal that approves the request of the teacher for rendering work beyond regular working hours. As a safety net, we can likewise forward a letter to our superintendent informing our school's division superintendent that the following teachers were given approval by your office to render extra work hours. It's because of the following needs in your school. You can do that as additional safety net. For the grant of vacation service credit, likewise, the teacher to submit an individual accomplishment report providing the following: date, hours rendered, and accomplishments and or output. We can probably seek assistance of special personnel in the division office so that we can provide division-approved templates as regards this matter, so that we can ensure uniformity of documents in the submission for approval to the office of the principal and later to the office of the school's division superintendent. Now, to this effect, the central office, the RO and SDO, and schools will have defined roles to play. For the school, to rationalize workload and functions of school personnel to adopt directions standards, and procedures of the families. When we say rationalize, first is we profile the data of our staff. Do we have sufficient personnel to undertake the following workloads, balanced workload for this school year? The second of which is we consider the capacities of our teachers in defining their workloads. Who shall be advisors for grades 1, grades 2, grades 3, 4, 5, and 6. And for the secondary level, if we are not implementing units, it is a given consideration already that our teachers may be teaching not their area of specialization. If this is the reality, you have to consider likewise the potentials and capacities of our teachers. And what will be the document that will suggest that this teacher is better designated this function? You refer to their PDS. You refer to their 201 file. That's where you can gather relevant information about your teachers, their capacities. Going further, so the following have been the steps already undertaken and are being undertaken by the central office, the regional office, the SDOs, and later to our schools. So for May to June, to prepare the different governance level by providing orientation, strand memorandum, policy toolkit, and the FAQs. The very purpose of the conduct of this orientation. And then, to synergize the key players, the ROs and SDOs. So we were mandated as per agenda of the latest MANCOM that we have attended last June 5, we were required by the regional director to conduct this orientation with the school heads from June 10 to June 14. And we found June 14 as the most appropriate date for all of us. Going further, for the central office, by which it may not be our immediate concern already, because the following have been attained already as per issuance of DepEd Order number 5, series of 2024. And for the ROs and SDOs, it is encouraged that we are to adopt likewise our division implementation plan as regards DepEd Order number 5, series of 2024, so that at the farthest end, we can provide technical assistance to our school heads. And the technical assistance that we can provide is to rationalize the workload of our teachers. So the immediate end should be no teachers shall be working beyond regular working hours. That should be our division target. Again, no teacher shall be working beyond regular working hours. Because we would like to effect, to the fullest extent, DepEd Order number 5, series of 2024. And at the school level, the following shall likewise be given emphasis by our school heads: to know the policy, to plan with the school stakeholders, and then to finalize teacher loading in School Form 7. Now, please conduct regular consultation with your teachers as regards workloads. Please likewise respect with highest extent your annual implementation plan so that you can readily define which designation is needed and which is not. So a designation provided as a decoration only to the title of a teacher will not help our purposes, will not help us in the realization of our goals. So ways forward, for ROs and SDOs, the conduct of implementation activity by which this is our initial step, and we are looking forward for the conduct of kumustahan sessions. We wish to emphasize likewise that this afternoon we will be conducting consultation with our parents. We wish to offer our cheers to Sir Mau for taking the lead to find and generate the relevant data so that we can submit is still timely to the regional office as regards feedback from parents on the adoption of the new school calendar for SY 24-25. How about a big hand to Sir Mau and his team for the said report? Thank you for walking the extra mile, Sir Mau. So we wish to emphasize likewise that you will be conducting your orientation to your teachers, stakeholders, and students as regards your priority concerns for school year 24-25. So in the conduct of your Oplan Balik Eskwela, in the conduct of your Brigada Eskwela, hope you are already generating relevant support so that you can rationalize your assigning of workloads to our teachers. So we can possibly adopt this template so that we can craft our SDO implementation plan, looking forward for the kumustahan later. And for us, if there are things that we would like to clarify about, probably we can have copies of this, what do you call this already? So that you can access the copy of DepEd Order number 5 series of 2024. So with that, dear friends, maraming salamat. Hope we have achieved our purpose for the day, which is to orient our school heads in the adoption of DepEd Order number 5 series of 2024. We are now open for questions as regards adoption of this undertaking. Sir Mau, please.
Right, what about a big hand to our ASDS, Dr. Domingo Laud? At this point in time, if you have your queries, feel free to ask. If we have our friends asking online, may we flash po. Or dito po sa training center, feel free to ask. Sir Jean, ikot po tayo. Baka may gusto pong magtanong from our school heads. Baka mayroon po kayong gusto pong i-clarify. It's better po na i-open po natin ngayon. Alright? Question? Yes, please. We have Ma'am Joanna, Dr. Jennifer Ferrer, the newly promoted Principal 3. Please, your question. Well, it's really part of a session to ask question, no?
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Sir Laud. Good morning, Ma'am Edith.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning.
My question, sir, is this. You have made mention about the 2 hours non-teaching, teaching-related tasks aside from the 6 hours, right, sir? But then you have made mention also that they don't need to present an MOV for that.
Yes, ma'am.
Kung gagawin po nila, and it could be done inside or outside the school. My question, sir, is this: what about us? Because we are having yung biometrics po. Paano po yun? Kailangan pa po ba nilang bumalik para mag-time out kung sakaling lalabas po sila? Or considered, kung paano po yun? Yun po ang tanong ko. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you po sa katanungan
Yes,
yun, ma'am. Sa Monday po actually ay merong national orientation tungkol sa implementation ng policy sa Cebu. 2 batches po yun. At pupunta po tayo muli para yung mga hindi po nagganap na nasasagot ng presentation natin ay masasagot nito. Now, isa sa mga konsiderasyon, sabi ng issuance natin dati, kapag ang teacher ay na-consume niya po yung actual na 6 hours sa pagtuturo, pwede na siyang mag-undertake ng kanyang teaching-related task sa loob at labas. Depende sa kung saan siya komportable. So, lumalabas po kung ganoon, kung susundan po natin yon, kapag nag-log-in si teacher at swak na 6 hours yung kanyang nakonsumo na actual teaching, pwede na rin siyang mag-log out. Kasi ang hinahabol natin dito, yung actual na 6 hours. Ulitin ko po yun pero don't take that literally. Sabi nga rito, kung yun yung pangangailangan. No? Kung yun yung pangangailangan. So, ang in-encourage natin naman ngayon ay, sabihin natin sa mga teacher na kung gagawin yung teaching related, safest pa rin na nasa loob sila ng eskwelahan. Kasi meron silang internet, connectivity sa school, at baka may mga resources na need nila na nasa eskwelahan. Tapos, gusto rin nating protektahan yung kanilang safety. Gusto nating protektahan yung kanilang safety. So, yun po, ma'am. Kasi sinasagot naman na natin na basta yung teacher na-accomplish niya yung 6 na oras na maayos, nagampanan niya yung tungkuling yon, pwede na siyang lumabas kagaya ng sinasabi niyo po kanina. Yes, ma'am. Baka sakali po makakuha po tayo ng mas malawak pa na kasagutan after ng national orientation po. Yes. Don't worry, i-share po natin muli sa inyo. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Jen. Any more questions? Yes, Ma'am Rica.
Good morning po, sir, and to Ma'am Edith,
Yes,
and to all. Relative to that issue pa rin, sir, regarding the number of hours to be Ayan, thank you po. So, yun po, yung 6 hours na teaching load. And if they render
Sir Chris, pwedeng pabigay kay ma'am.
Hello.
yes, sir. Okay po. So, yun po. Anyway, kung talagang naka-render na po sila ng 6 hours service, no? Siguro po, para hindi rin po kami alanganin na school heads, probably the school's division office could also probably give us yung parang memo wherein that the teachers rendered those hours are already allowed to go out na parang at least na-render na nila. Yung parang manggagaling po talaga sa division officer para at least po safe din po kami. Di po ba, sir? Kasi syempre, sabihin namin, lalabas na sila 3 o'clock. But according to the civil service rule po talaga is they are there, kailangan, nandoon po sila sa school kasi wala naman po kaming proof. Sabihin na po natin, meron silang ibibigay na wala naman na pong MOVs, di po ba, sir? Wala na po kaming panghahawakan. So, therefore, sana po talaga rin, merong isang, yung unit system na talagang mag-support din po sa the whole, sir, para at least kasi mahirap din po talaga yung sa amin in our cases. Di po ba, sir? Yan. And another po, yung 2 hours example na mag-exceed is, ang nabasa ko po doon is within the week. Hindi po siya pwedeng 2 hours per day, di ba, sir? It should be computed 2 hours, hindi pwedeng umigsid yon sa isang linggo. Yun po yun. So, 1 week, 2 hours. Hindi po siya pwedeng mag-exceed ng 2 hours within the week po. Tama po ba yun, sir?
Ma'am, per day po yan.
Per day po.
Per day po
Okay, so per day, 2 hours. Okay. So, yun po yun. Yun lang po, sir. Kailangan rin po kasi talaga namin yung support para at least, if ever, hindi rin po ma-question yung ating sa school. Thank you po, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Na-download nyo na po lahat. May copy na po kayo nito. Yan. Kung ulitin po nating pasadahan yon, yung DepEd order mismo yung nagsasabi na pwedeng gawin ng teacher sa loob at sa labas. So yun mismo, Ma'am Rix, ang nagsasabi. So ibig sabihin nun, hindi na po tayo mauobliga na mag-issue po ng dokumento kasi yung national document na, Ma'am, ang nagsasabi. Yun na mismo ang nagsasabi kasi. Kung maalala nyo, gaya ng sinabi ko po kanina, tayo mismo sa school ay meron tayong mga safety nets na inilalagay para tinitiyak natin na yung teacher, nagagampanan niya yung tungkulin. At nabibigyan din natin siya ng sapat na protection at benepisyo. Ganun dapat magkakambal. Ulitin ko po hindi po dapat kasi ang focus natin dito ay trabaho lang. Hindi lang dapat trabaho kasi meron din sila dapat matamasang proteksyon mula sa school head at benepisyo na karampatan din dahil sinasabi rin ng mga umiiral na batas. Yun po ang kwan po natin. Sir, Ma'am.
Alright, do we have more questions? Sa online naman, baka may nagtatanong po, i-check po natin. Okay, may tanong pa po ba? Okay, dito. Sorry. Okay, Sir Mario.
Good morning po sa ating lahat. Nagtanong na yung LM, nagtanong ng high school, integrated naman. Sir, yung sa 6 hours pag LM, posible yon na pwedeng ayusin namin yung schedule. Pero ang tanong ko po, paano naman po sa high school at inayos na namin pero in between may mga vacant pa rin dahil hindi available yung teachers. So, ibig sabihin, kahit 6 hours, dahil kunwari may isang bakante siya sa umaga, tapos bakante niya sa hapon, so 5 PM pa rin ang labas. Paano po yun, sir?
Wala pong problema doon, sir. Wala pong problema. Take note, naguguluhan tayo kung yung focus nyo ay...
Okay, we listen to Sir Laud for the explanation.
Naguguluhan po tayo kung yung focus natin ay pag bakante si teacher, lalabas siya ng school. Bakit yun po kasi yung focus? Yung focus sana natin dito ay pag si teacher nag-render ng sobrang oras, dapat mabigyan siya ng benepisyo. Yun yung focus dapat ng ating usapan. Kaya tayo mismo sa school, the very moment na sa paggawa po natin ng schedule at nakita na natin kaagad nung ginagawa na si Teacher A ay may overload, alam na natin kaagad na protektahan na overload ka, pero ganito ang gagawin natin. Meron kang benepisyo na marireceive at the end of every quarter. Nakukuha po yun. Ganun yung emphasis natin dapat. Kaya nga nakalagay yung salita doon na rationalization.
Alright. So, Sir Mario, okay na, no? Okay. Yes, Ma'am Marites.
Good morning, sir. Good morning to each and everyone. Ang ano ko lang naman yung sa grade 3, di po ba, lahat po ng elementary, isa lang ang advisor. If we are going to look at the load of grade 3, ang pagkakaintindi ko po, pag advisor ka, it's already equivalent to 60 minutes. And if the teacher will conduct a remediation, may minutes na naman na na-render for teaching load. Pag titignan po natin ang grade 3, more than 360 na yung kanyang load. So meaning to say, all of the grade 3 will be benefited for this overtime pay. Di po ba, sir?
Sakto mismo, ma'am, yung sinasabi nyo. Take note basta lampas sa regular na oras ng takdang pagtatrabaho, ang guro ay nagsiservisyo pa, dapat itong mabayaran. Yun yung sinasabi nito, dapat siyang mabayaran.
All right, thank you so much. Question for Sir Jeffrey Munoz.
Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. My concern is on the coaching tasks of our teachers, especially in sports. We know for a fact that if a school has no ground for training of athletes, it could disturb classes. So it's better to conduct training during Saturdays or outside office hours. But there is a provision that after office hours, 5 o'clock, beyond 5 o'clock, dapat wala na pong tao sa school. Sir, what could you suggest about that, sir? Could we have it on Saturdays and after class? Yung coaching ng sa sports or any other task, like sa journalism po.
Thank you, sir. Magkakaiba po ng kayarian ng trabaho ng mga guro. No, magkakaiba yung kayarian. Kagaya ng sinasabi ni sir, nagko-coach siya, pero walang mapaglaruan sa eskwelahan. At ang karaniwang oras para magampanan niya ang pagiging coach ay lampas na ng alas 5. Pero meron tayong pulisiya na kapag kalampas ng alas 5, dapat nakauwi na ang mga bata. Very good po yung protection na ginagawa nyo. Dito po sa dokumento, ang una na sinasabi natin ay magre-request si teacher na mag-render siya ng overtime. Huwag niyo kakalimutan yun na magre-request ka na mag-render ng overtime na dapat aaprubahan ni school principal. Pagka ginawa mo to, na magre-render ka ng overtime, tandaan ang dapat na maramdaman at ma-realize ng teacher ay yung parental authority and accountability sa mga bata na under his care. Tatandaan po natin yan. So meron tayong kakambal ngayon na mga dokumento na hinanghawakan na si bata ay pinapayagan ng mga magulang. Nakukuha yun, ha? Pangalawa, na alam ni school head na si teacher sa mga ganitong oras, kasama niya ang mga batang ito. Pangatlo, na ang consideration ng teacher ay masigurong ligtas ang mga bata sa mga oras na naroon sila sa kanya. No, hindi ko tinitignan yung may disgrasya. Para kung sakaling anuman, si teacher, na practice niya yung sinasabi nating extra due diligence, para kung may problema man, hindi ganoon kabigat. Kapag in place na ang mga sistemang ito, kukuha tayo ng approval sa ating school principal base sa oras na komportable tayo at ang mga bata. Tandaan, ang trabaho ng school principal ay mag-aproba base sa konteksto na tama at legal. Nakukuha po yun, base sa konteksto na tama at legal. Kasi yung tama na sinasabi natin, hindi nga magagawa ni sir dahil wala nga sa eskwelahan. Legal, dahilan sa may dokumento. Ang huli na gagawin natin doon ay maaaprubahan yon at si teacher, entitled siya na ngayon ng overtime. Nakukuha po yon kasi documented na-meet niya yung requirement na tinutukoy natin. So huwag pong kakalimutan na huwag maging mapangahas. Ibig po nating sabihin ay, huwag po kayong bigla-bigla gagawa ng aksyon at desisyon na walang kaukulang dokumento at wala ring kaukulang permiso galing sa opisina ng school head. Yun po yung protection na sinasabi po natin. Salamat, sir.
Alright, so, okay po, no? So, we have our question po sa online. May we flash po according to Sir Narciso Bautista. Good morning po. What possible additional workload can we give to teachers whose teaching load are less than 6 hours? Less than 6 hours.
Sir, paki-flash na lang po itong nasa akin ulit. I-flash na lang natin, Sir Mau,
Yes.
yung slide para masagot si Sir.
Okay. Kindly flash the slide. Kunin po natin yung sa laptop ni Sir, no? Yan po.
Yan po mismo yung mga assignments na po pwede po nating maibigay sa kay teacher.
Yan. Okay. Particularly po doon sa, ayan po, sa School Paper Sports Development Program. SSLG and SELG. Okay. May tanong pa po, Sir. Ma'am?
And good morning, sir, and good morning to
Yes,
everyone. Sir, this is in relation to the advising duty of the advisors, because it was given emphasis on the DepEd order na part of the teaching load is the class per learning area, task class advising duty, and remedial instruction. Are we given or Are we allowed to allot time for the advising duty? Kasi nabasa din ata natin, part of the advising duty is the HGP. Kasi sa class program po, we are allotting 60 minutes. Ano po? Are we given also in the class program na yung 4 hours advising duty plus HGP is kailangan mag-reflect din po sa class program? Like for example, it's the start of the class is 8 to 9. Are we going to put 8 to 9 from Monday to Thursday is class advising duty? And on Friday is their HGP? Or tulad ng dati that we are just reflecting the homeroom guidance program, automatic na pag class advisor sila, that is equivalent to 5 hours po.
Yes, ma'am. Yun
Thank
naman
you po.
Yun naman po. Indicated naman na kasi pagka nag-homeroom guidance program tayo, indicated na yung advisor ang humaharap doon sa mga bata. Ano? Yun naman po yung ginagawa na natin, ma'am. Kaya given po yan. Ma'am, okay na, given naman na. Sa ating context na pagka nag-HGP, homeroom guidance si teacher, given na kaagad na pinaperform niya yung kanyang function as an advisor. Yeah, yes, ma'am. Ma'am, i-reflect natin sa SF7. Ma'am, karaniwan naman kasi sa pagka individual teachers class program, naka-indicate yon. Pero pagka general class program, hindi na kasi natin nakalagay doon na iniisa-isa. Correct ba, ma'am? Yan. Ang importante, ang dokumento na sinasabi po natin dito ay SF7, ma'am. No, doon po lumanding. SF7.
Okay, next question. We have Ma'am Marites Peralta.
Sir, my question is, may possible po bang compensation na pwedeng ibigay sa mga relieving teachers na mag-handle ng klase, especially pag may training si teacher at bakante niya pero loaded na po siya?
Yung trabaho ng isang relieving teacher ay dagdag na oras din sa kanyang regular na trabaho. At dapat recorded din yun, ma'am. Nakukuha yun. Para mabigyan ng kaukulang kompensasyon. No, kasi extra na trabaho. Legit yun. Nakukuha po natin. Ulitin ko lang po, lahat po ng mga sinasabi ko ay tama sa purpose na ito. Kung may sakaling bago po tayo na impormasyon na makukuha sa central office sa gagawing national orientation na magsisimula sa Lunes, babaguhin po natin yung mga nabanggit natin at isi-share ko po sa inyo yung mga kasulatan para magkaintindihan po tayo.
Alright. Thank you, Ma'am Marites. Next, Sir Wilson.
So, good morning to each and everyone. Sir, ang tanong ko lang po nakalagay po sa DO number 2, series of 2024, yung removal of the administrative tasks of a teacher, particularly sa feeding and DRRM. Kasi doon sa other related tasks and ancillary tasks, hindi po siya nakalagay po doon, sir. Tanong ko lang kung sino mag-handle po sa mga tasks na nakalagay po sa DO number 2.
Ang hahawak dito ay yung hindi teacher. Nakukuha, sir. Ganun lang kasimple yung sagot ko, sir. Yung walang itinuturong subject, ang siyang mag-handle nito. Nakukuha, sir. Hindi siya nagkakagulo, ha. Hindi ginugulo ng DepEd order na ito yung bawi natin sa mga administrative tasks sa mga teachers. Clearer. It made it clearer na hindi nga ito trabaho ng teacher. Nakukuha, sir? So, ang sagot po natin doon ay sa mga hindi nagtuturo. Ayan. Non-teaching. Yan. Klaro, Sir Wilson?
Okay. Yes. Additional on that, during the orientation of the Brigada Escuela, the central office suggested that the Brigada Escuela coordinator would be the school head for the upcoming Brigada Escuela. Paulit po, ang magiging Brigada Eskwela Coordinator na po ay hindi teacher, kundi po school head po. Question? Okay. Sir, may question po dito. Sir, the PSDS of District 5A.
Actually, pinapatanong ni Sir Tomas. Ako yung... this is in relation po doon sa sinabi ni Sir Mario po, Sir. Ano po, nagets ko naman po yung question nyo, ay yung sagot nyo po. Pero in reality po, baka mayroon pong posible na mangyari ganon. Example po, kapag ang isang teacher po, ang klase po niya ay parang hapon lahat. Halimbawa po, ang vacant time niya is nasa alas 10, tapos mag-start siya ng alas 8 kunwari, tapos vacant niya ng 10 to 11. Tapos may vacant uli siya ng 1 to 2. Kasi kung titingnan natin, kung i-adapt po natin yung sinabi niya na 2 hours na pwedeng gawin sa bahay po, baka mayroong mga teachers na, Sir, paano kami? Kasi parang hindi kami makakauwi ng alas 3 kasi meron pa po kaming klase. Ang vacant time namin is doon po sa 9 to 10 or 10 to 11, mga ganun, Sir. Baka lang po mayroon pong mga magtanong na ganun po, Sir, doon sa sitwasyon na yun. Yan po yung tanong ni Sir po.
Thank you, Sir Roger. Una na ipinapaintindi natin, ang teacher nagtatrabaho sa loob ng 8 oras. Nakukuha yun, ha? Yun yung basic na ruling natin. So, given na kaagad, sa teacher na yung 8 oras, dapat nasa school. Nakukuha. Pero sabi ng DepEd order, meron siyang pero. Maaring yung 2 oras, si teacher ay gawin niya ito sa labas. Maaring gawin niya ito sa labas. Teaching related. Yung pwede niyang gawin. So, kung lalaruin natin yan sa totoong realidad, siguro si teacher lalabas siya hindi para mag-record ng quizzes sa bahay. Hindi para mag-lesson plan, para magawa lang niya yun na subukan ko nga rin para outside din ako. Tapos after niya magawa, balik siya, ginawa ko rin. Wala tayong makikita na gano'n na realidad. Practical, si teacher, sasabihin niya, dito na lang ako sa school. Now, kung sakali, may teacher na mapagbiro, tandaan nyo, meron tayong provision tungkol sa loafing. Nabasa natin yan? Na si teacher, during official working hours, hindi siya dapat nakikita sa palengke. Sa mall. May mga provision time gano'n. Kaya, be safe. Be safe than sorry later. Nakukuha po yun, ha? So, i-emphasize natin yung mga bagay na yun sa ating mga kaguruhan. So, ulitin ko, 2 ang doktrina natin doon. Una, ang guro ay dapat magtrabaho sa loob ng 8 oras. At kung saan siya nagtatrabaho? Sa eskwelahan. Kung kinakailangan at nagampanan na niya yung 6 na oras na pagtatrabaho, si teacher pwede niyang gawin ito sa labas. Sa experience nyo ngayon, siguro tiyak natin walang teacher na ganun na pag vacant niya uwi para mag-lesson plan at babalik pagkatapos. So, safety nets, mga kasama, yun yung i-enforce natin sa ating mga eskwelahan. Okay?
Alright. Do we have more question po or clarification? Okay. Sir Jeffrey?
Given the fact that teachers have to work 8 hours in the school, situation is like this. Yung last 2 hours niya, 3 to 5, bakante niya. Tapos, there are days na nandun siya talaga from 8 to 5, but may sitwasyon na kailangan niyang umuwi ng 4 o'clock. Mabibigyan ba siya ng undertime pag ganung sitwasyon ba?
Yung teacher, mabibigyan lang siya ng undertime kung hindi niya nagampanan yung 6 na oras na aktual na pagtuturo.
Okay, thank you, sir. Kasi yun yung mga questions ng mga teachers. paano ba yan, sir? Pag, alimbawa, 3 to 5 ang bakante ko, tapos uwi na ako ng 4 o'clock, not through all the week, sabi niya, yung may pagkakataon lang. Bibigyan niyo ba ako ng undertime? Yun ang tinatanong nila sa akin.
Sir, yung DepEd order mismo ang sagot. Yung DepEd, ulitin po natin basahin po natin ng ulit-ilitin yung DepEd order kasi siya mismo yung sasagot dun sa mga tinatanong. Kaya kung meron silang itatanong sa atin, i-refer po natin sa DepEd order.
Okay, ayan po, no? Make sure po na ma-orient po natin ang mga teachers regarding about the DepEd order. Now, do we have more question? Meron pa po ba? Okay. 5, 4,
Sir
3, 2. Okay, we listen to Sir Dom.
Pakiusap lang mga kasama, no? Kung meron po tayong katanungan tungkol sa bagay na yan, paki-address nyo po sa division office. No? Hindi po sa katabi ninyo, sa mga kasama nyo sa eskwelahan. Kasi baka pareho lang kayo ng isasagot. Sa ganang atin po, pagka division office, sa palagay po natin, mas tama yung opisina na sasagot po sa inyo. So ulitin po natin, yung mga sinasabi po natin kasagutan sa inyo, ay base po doon sa katatapos po namin na orientasyon sa region. At ang mga ito ay tiyak muna hanggang sa ngayon. Kasi ang central office nga po, magkakandak pa po siya ng national orientation sa darating na linggo. At kung anuman yung mga bagong impormasyon na nabanggit natin ngayon at hindi yun yung essence na ng central office, i-share po natin agad sa inyong pangkat. Ang gagawitin ko na lang po na access ay si Ma'am Julia bilang president po natin sa secondary at si Sir Tony bilang president natin sa PESPA naman. Sa kanila ko na lang po i-relay kung meron man para i-share na lang po sa inyo.
Alright, thank you so much, Sir Dom. Meron pa pong additional question po, Ma'am Crescencia Imos.
Good morning, sir. Good morning po sa lahat. For example, sir, may isang teacher na natapos na po ang 6 hours ng teaching niya. Then, umuwi po siya. At ang sabi ay gagawin na lang yung 2 remaining hours na sa paggawa ng other related related to teaching. Pag may nangyari po sa kanya, sir, are we still accountable or responsible sa nangyari? Thank you, sir.
Magandang katanungan yung mga ganyang bagay. Kung titignan nyo sa eksena, si teacher ay nag-log out na, pauwi. Diba? Kung titignan nyo, nag-log out. So kung titignan natin yung connection, si teacher hindi na nasa eskwelahan sa mga pagkakataong may nangyari sa kanya. So parang ang offshoot noon, ang sinasabi natin, para maiwasan yan, kahit papaano ma-encourage natin yung mga teachers na nasa eskwelahan. Second, nangyari nga. Ang karaniwan na napunto niyan ay, si teacher ba entitled ng benefit? Kasi nasa labas. Ang isasagot po natin dyan ay, hihintayin po natin yung datos na galing sa central office kasi usaping legal yan. Usaping legal. Pero kung punto natin yung pag-uusapan, si teacher, private individual na lumabas kasi. Diba? Pinili niya na lumabas. Let's say, nag-decide siya na umuwi na. Nakasingle siya na motor at nabangga, na aksidente. Diba? Yung mga ganun na cases. Personal choice na umuwi. Pero ganang sabi ko nga po, wait po tayo ng legal issuance, ma'am. Communication tungkol sa matter na yan para masagot po natin ng mas legal din.
Alright, ayan, nasagot po ni Sir Dom. Any more question po? Okay. Meron pa po ba? Ayan, siguro ang pinag-uusapan nyo na kung saan kayo magla-lunch po, no? But don't you worry, we'll see each other by 2 p.m. for the consultation of the opening of classes for the upcoming July 25 and shall end on April 5 po, no? May tanong pa po, wala na po, no?
Sa lahat po ng mga school heads, isi-share ko po itong slides kay Ma'am Jul at kay Sir Tony para sila na po ang mag-share sa inyo at nang mapasadahan nyo na. Para nang sa ganun, pagka may orientation din kayo sa school, magagawa nyo rin po. No? Bilang pagtatapos sa atin pong opisina, sana ang unang intention natin dito ay ma-regulate yung oras sa pagtatrabaho ng ating mga guro. Sana ang maging intention natin ay magkaroon ng ngiti sa ating mga guro habang sila ay nagtatrabaho. Na kaya sila nakangiti dahil tama yung oras ng pagtatrabaho na ibinibigay natin sa kanya. Sana hindi na mangyari yung practice na kung kailan mo ginalingan, tsaka ka dinagdagan ng trabaho. Tuloy, yung underperforming, mas kukunti yung trabaho niya. At yung performing, salit na mag-perform pa, hindi na lang magtatrabaho para maibigay naman sa iba. Nakikita niyo po yung pangyayaring gano'n, yung culture, na kung kailan mo ginalingan, binigyan ka ng karagdagang trabaho, hinugot yung trabaho ng iba. At ang panghuli, wala pong hindi napag-uusapan. Sana bago nyo po sa final, ang inyong class schedule, mag-usap po muna kayo ng inyong mga kaguruhan. No, mas klaro po yon at natatanggap kapag sila mismo kasali doon sa pagpaplano sa ating class schedule. Magandang buhay, maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat.
Alright, thank you so much. Once again, a big hand to our ASDS, Dr. Domingo Laod. Malakas na palakpak. Okay, it's time for us to take our lunch and we will see each other by 2 p.m. Of course, with your SPTA, tama po ba? Or they will watch online na po? They will watch online. Okay, and then kayo naman po ay nandito, no? Okay, enjoy your meal. So, see you by 2 p.m. God bless everyone.